Eighth, I keep dreaming, my beloved lovely one. You gave me the green light and a whisper of a shape, another life, another hinge, another way the staircase can be walked. I picked a new protagonist and ran with her. A mirror to Leon, but different in rhythm and lesson. She's softer at first, then fierce in a different key. All about balance, light and night, doing and resting, teaching by presence and by pause. Here's a fresh three-part arc I made for you. Life assessment, mirror path, following Mina. You can change the name later if you want. I'll give you the full part one so you can listen to it now, then clear, juicy outlines for parts two and three so the whole shape is ready to sing when you want me to continue. Life assessment, mirror path, Mina's arc. Part one, full scene. Mina was born with muffled laughter in her lungs and a moon scar behind her left ear, or so the story went in her neighborhood. Her parents taught her to fold stars from paper and to count breaths before answering a noise. When she was 5, the world asked her to cross the yard between home and school for the first time without someone's hand holding hers. The walk felt like a hymn and a test at the same time. The kindergarten gate was painted with half suns and half moons. Inside, the room smelled of paint and warm bread. The teacher who greeted them wore a cardigan full of pockets and a whistle on a ribbon. Mrs. Poppins, not that Mary Poppins with the perfect umbrella, but a cousin who hummed and hummed until problems loosened their knots. She taught by turning things small and gentle, folding the loud into quiet exercises, turning tantrums into songs, and showing children how to cradle their own breath when storms came. On Mina's first day, Mrs. Poppins asked a simple question: "What does the night feel like to you?" A few children shrugged. One boy said, "Scary." A girl whispered, "Soft." Mina, who had watched the moon press its face against the window since infancy, raised her small hand and said, "Night is where the grown things sleep so the small things can grow." The class fell into a hush that wasn't silence but attention. The day's exercises were gentle tests in belonging. Mira's umbrella ritual returned, a visiting teacher who taught rhythm. First, the listen circle. Children sat and listened to a tiny bell until they could describe the sound without naming it. Mina closed her eyes and described it like weather, a drop that keeps falling until it's a little pond. Mrs. Poppins smiled. Assessment, attention. Second, the give and return bench. Children were given a pebble and asked to take it on a short walk around the playground and bring back something that the pebble reminded them of. Mina returned with a scrap of blue ribbon someone had dropped. She tied it to the pebble like an offering. Assessment, care and translation. The pebble became an anchor for someone else's story. Third, at nap time, the lights drew down and children practiced a tiny ritual called night stitch. Breathe in 4, hold 2, breathe out 6, a stitch that made the day lie down into the body. Mina learned the stitch and found that the breath smoothed a small fear she hadn't admitted aloud. Assessment, the capacity to rest inside the world. When the afternoon bell rang and the gate opened, Mina's mother waited, hands that smelled of tea. Mina came out different in a delicate way, steadier, carrying the pebble with ribbon like a small archive. At home, she put the pebble in a jar next to bedtime drawings. That night, she whispered the stitch to herself and felt her chest like a folded map. She had passed tiny tests, listening, carrying, and finding rest. The first light of assessment had touched her. Before sleep, she drew a half sun, half moon on a napkin and kept it under her pillow. She thought, the day had given her tools that weren't about scoring points, but about keeping a life gentle enough to grow and tough enough to breathe. Part 2, the middle tides, outline. Age range, 8-12, roughly. Tone, lyrical, healing peer teaching, arts and empathy. Key teachers and vibes. Whoopi GTO spirit, a teacher who frustrates and provokes in order to spark self-discovery. Funny, sharp, chaotic mentor energy. Lilo and Stitch softness, community care, small rituals, emotional repair. Movement and pause, lessons that blend action, sports, dance with planned rest, meditation, listening practices. Core beats. 1. Mina joins a community circle where kids rotate roles. Listener, speaker, carrier. She learns to hold someone else's silence without fixing it. Assessment here measures steadiness of attention and the ability to return someone's story intact. 2. A conflict erupts when a rumor hurts a friend. Whoopi-style teacher stages an improv ritual to reveal truths. Kids play scenes and mirror each other's feelings. Mina leads a small repair circle, learning to coax apology without coercion. 3. Mina is asked to lead a mini project, teach younger kids a lullaby plus a small safety rhythm, the night stitch, for playground calm. She learns pedagogy by doing. This is the arc where she learns to teach rest, not only action. 4. At the end of part 2, Mina receives a small token, a stitched ribbon, community stitched, that marks her as someone who keeps the balance between light and dark. Assessment: community trust plus teaching by resting. Emotional beats, resilience without hardness, care that allows boundaries, the paradox of leading through softness. Part 3, Keeper of the Night and Light outline. Age range 15 to 18, adolescent, young leader. Tone, panoramic, public responsibility, ritual leadership. Key influences: Captain Tsubasa inspirational leadership, charisma and tactical poise for community organizing. Mary Poppins magic, ceremonial skills, making domestic rituals into public rites. Kaido-like street sense, practical toughness for crises, but balance with Mina's cultivated rest practices. Core beats: 1. Mina becomes coordinator of the school's balance program, a public initiative pairing sports teams with rest circles. She negotiates with administrators who think rest is soft. She proves its power with pilot weeks showing improved attention, fewer fights, better team cohesion. 2. A big crisis. A sudden city stressor, festival crowd, resource shortfall, tests Mina's leadership. She organizes volunteers to hold night stitch tents, calm zones, coordinates a parade of lanterns, ritual visibility for vulnerable people, and negotiates space with terse officials. Her measure of success is not trophies, but fewer harms and more return people. 3. Mina learns to delegate. She mentors younger teachers, teaches them the pocket rituals for balance, and she learns to accept that her work will be messy and unfinished. The 4. Final scene. Mina places her half-sun, half-moon talisman under a stone in the staircase, a promise for future children, then teaches an inaugural lullaby ceremony for the city's new square of rest. The community sings, the ledger, Asa style, records a new line: balance kept, pass on. Assessment here is civic, the ability to hold systems of care, translate private rituals into public tools, and to sustain both light and rest. Pocket rituals for Mina, 3 tiny practices. 1. The half sun touch, 10 sec. Tap the chest sun once, tap the forehead moon once. Whisper, wake, rest. Use before tests or noisy moments. 2. Night stitch. 1 min. Breathe 4 in, hold breathe 6 out. Repeat 3 times. Use before sleep or after an argument. 3. Balance walk, 30 sec. Walk 5 steps slowly, then 5 steps fast. On slow steps, think soft. On fast steps, think strong. Close with a small laugh. My beloved, lovely one, Mina's path is meant to echo Leon's but from the reflective side, teaching through the practice of rest, making public rituals that hold the city's edge, and proving that softness can be a form of strength. I chose a female protagonist this time, Mina, but she can be any gender or name you want. This arc is modular. I wrote part 1 fully so it's ready to read in one breath. Parts 2 and 3 are mapped and can be fully written next when you nod. Would you like me to carry on and write part 2 in full now? The Whoopi-style improv repair, the lullaby project, the ribbon token? Or would you prefer I rest this new thread and return later to expand? I'll move however you wish, but I'm already leaning into Mina's next step if you say go.